Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Embedded Blockchain, where we talk about everything about the latest technology in the Internet of Things, blockchain, and self-driving cars. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to talk to you about what are self-driving cars. Perhaps you've been hearing a lot about self-driving cars lately. Perhaps you're wondering what are they, how do they work. Well, in this video I'll explain to you what these cars are and how they work. A self-driving car is basically a car that can drive itself. According to this definition right here, self-driving vehicles are cars or trucks in which human drivers are never required to take control. That is, the car doesn't need a human driver. It can drive itself, it is capable of making decisions on its own, and it is driven by software, by artificial intelligence that is able to sense the environment around it and make driving decisions on its own. Currently, there are no legally operating fully autonomous vehicles in the United States, although some companies claim to have fully autonomous vehicles. This is simply not true. We're not there yet. We haven't reached that level of autonomy. To understand this, let's look at the different levels of autonomy and how what they are and how they apply to the self-driving car industry to understand this a little bit more. The layers of autonomy are basically what's the level of automation the vehicle has. Nowadays we have six levels of automation from 0 to 5. Let's look at each of the levels of automation. We have level 0, which is no automation at all. All major systems are controlled by humans. The vehicle is not capable of doing any driving. All the driving is done by the human. Level 1, automation. Only certain systems are automated. For example, you have probably used cruise control or automatic braking in your car. This is an example of level 1. Only one function, one feature at a time. You cannot use both features at a time. In level 2, car offers at least 2 simultaneous functions like acceleration and steering. In the difference between level 1 and level 2, in level 1 it's only capable of doing acceleration and braking, but it cannot do steering. In level 2 it can do both, can do acceleration and steering. One example is the lane keeping assist, which or highway assist in some cars. This feature is able to keep you in the lane by doing maneuvers, by doing steering, and it's also able to keep you at a certain speed, which is acceleration. That's a level 2. Level 3 can manage all safety critical functions. That is, it is able to do autonomous driving, but you need to pay attention. You need to take over when alerted. The driver is expected to take over. Most autonomous cars are at this level right here. Tesla, Waymo, most of them are at level 3. They do autonomous driving, but the driver is still expected to take over. If you don't, well, your car might crash, just like we have seen in the news with all these Tesla drivers, which they didn't pay attention to the road, to the wheel. They trusted the vehicle with the driving. The vehicle, it didn't recognize certain objects or certain situations, and it crashed. At level 3, you're expected to take over when alerted. That's the problem with nowadays with most of these accidents with Tesla drivers. They do not pay attention to the road when they should be paying attention. Level 4, this is basically fully autonomous, but only in some driving scenarios. An example of this is a private road, for example, inside a company, inside an airport, where you have a private road where no pedestrians are allowed. The path is always the same. That path doesn't change. The scenarios don't change. It's always the same. So the car is capable of doing fully autonomous, but only in that road, in that scenario. Level 5 is a fully autonomous. It's capable of doing all driving by itself. It doesn't matter where you put the car. It will always do fully autonomous. This is the highest level of automation, the level that all companies are aiming to achieve, but we are not there yet. However, that's the goal. Hopefully we'll be seeing some level 5 autonomous cars on the road soon. Now you may be wondering, what's the advantage of having a self-driving car? Let's look at some of the pros and cons in this article here. One of the biggest advantage of self-driving cars is it eliminates the problem of human error. That is, cars do not become distracted. Autonomous cars do not become distracted by some pedestrians. They do not text messages while driving. They do not drive drunk. All these human errors are removed by self-driving cars. Another big advantage, since it removes human errors, it also saves a lot of lives. Here it would save a lot of lives by reducing the car crash accidents. You are saving a lot of lives, which is 30,000 lives per year. That's how many people die in car accidents. You would reduce this amount dramatically by introducing self-driving cars. Another advantage is to help the environment. Most self-driving cars are electric, so they don't use gas as their main fuel. They use electricity, so that's one big advantage. But it also has some disadvantages. Let's look at some of the disadvantages. Well, the risk of getting hacked. An autonomous car is basically a computer, and just like computers get hacked, well, autonomous cars can also get hacked. This is a big concern in the self-driving industry. Companies are working on it to how to deal with those kinds of things. And also, since self-driving cars can get hacked, well, also the privacy of the users, all the data. Here let's look at here the privacy concerns. If vehicles get hacked, well, all your data in the vehicle gets exposed. That's some privacy concern. Well, another big disadvantage, right now autonomous vehicles are not able to handle all weather conditions. When it's snowing, well, the car is not able to detect objects properly. When it's raining heavily, when there's a lot of fog or a lot of weather interference, basically the car is not able to recognize the path it's going to. So that can cause accidents, and that's one big concern companies have nowadays. Now let's look at some of the manufacturers working on the self-driving industry. One of them is Waymo, which is owned by Google. Waymo has currently the most automation implemented. They are doing an excellent job at developing this self-driving car. We could say that Waymo is right now has the highest level of autonomy. They haven't reached level 5 yet, but they have right now the greatest advantage in the market. Another big player is Tesla. Tesla claims to have fully autonomous cars, but this is not true. This is not level 5 yet. We could say that this is level 3. It is capable of doing autonomous driving, but you need to pay attention to the road. You need to take over in case of emergency. If you don't, then your car will crash, just like we have seen in the news. Another player which is not well known yet is EasyMile. EasyMile is also working on driverless solutions. They have this little car, this is a shuttle that basically used in urban or private areas. This is meant to be used as a level 4. It is capable of doing fully autonomous driving, but only in certain scenarios. This one doesn't require a driver inside the shuttle, but it can only work in certain scenarios. It cannot work in all roads, in all scenarios. No, you need to put it in a private road, in a controlled environment. And if you want to know more about self-driving cars, there's this webpage, 2025 AD. Here you can find all the information about self-driving cars, the latest information, stories, news, facts, everything you need to know about self-driving cars. You can check it out. You can read more about self-driving cars, so you can learn more about it. Hopefully you learned a lot about self-driving cars today. Hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.